Did you know there is another game happening on Saturday? I know, amazing. It's not all about Ireland against France. I mean, it's mostly about Ireland against France on Saturday, which is why I understand some of the criticism saying, Six Nations organisers, why have you put Scotland against Wales after Ireland against France? Surely Ireland against France should be the pinnacle of Saturday. For what it's worth, this is how it was 2 years ago, and that's when it was world ranked number 1 against world ranked number 2. So we've seen it before and it worked out all right then. We can gorge ourselves on the main course of Ireland-France and then still find room for dessert in the form of an interesting little match-up in Murrayfield between Scotland and Wales, which I have the teams for now, and which sparks a lot of different discussions. After Scotland's narrow defeat to England, this was described as a game that is unthinkable for Scotland to lose. And Gregor Townsend, under pressure, would come under an incredible amount of pressure if he doesn't put Wales to the sword. But it's not so unthinkable that Wales could win now with their resurgence post-Warren Gatland and under Matt Sherratt. They seem like a completely different team. So it's a really interesting one. Your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you make of the matchups? I'm going to go through each of the teams, and then I've got a combined 23-man squad. If you had access to all 23 Welshmen, all 23 Scots, who would you pick in a combined team? The news for Scotland is that wee Darcy Graham is back and wee George Horne is also into the 23. A 5-3 split Scotland have gone for, meaning they can have George Horne over Jamie Doby. And Darcy Graham, really good to see him back after that head collision a few weeks back. And he is the only change to the starting 15 that lost to that incredible English all-out attacking performance. That's what happened at Twickenham a couple of weeks ago, isn't it? That's my memory of it anyway. Kyle Rowe drops to the bench, and he was really good against England, I thought. And like I say, he's there with George Horne and also Rory Sutherland, who returns there as well. Now, it's interesting, on that right wing, I thought Kyle Rowe was really good. One of the reasons I'm really pleased to see Darcy Graham back is because it's open. I think there is a spot open for the British and Irish Lions in that position. Emmanuel Faye-Waboso is undergoing surgery. Mac Hansen is out injured. Kyle Steyn is not back yet. There is a shot for someone to grab a spot, and that guy could be wee Darcy. As for the pack for Scotland, Jamie Ritchie, after what Gregor Townsend described as his best ever Scotland performance, he understandably retains his spot. Matt Fagerson on the bench, and again, that's an interesting little subplot with British and Irish Lions bubbling along in the background. Matt Fagerson, go back a couple of months, I had him on the plane, potentially a test starter, and here he is backing up Jamie Ritchie, who had an unreal game. I do think Scotland are missing Scott Cummings. He just kind of brings that pack together. They've done some really good things this Six Nations. Grant Gilchrist and Johnny Gray haven't convinced me, and I do think Scotland are missing Scott Cummings a lot. Other than that, they do seem very, very settled. And yeah, like I say, unthinkable that Scotland could win. Maybe a few weeks could lose even. Maybe a few weeks ago, but not so unthinkable now. Wales, for the first time since 2019, the stat that's been doing the rounds today, for the first time in nearly 6 years, name a completely unchanged starting 15. It's exactly as you were, and that makes total sense because of the heroic turnaround job that this Welsh team did against Ireland a fortnight ago in Cardiff. Only one change to the 23, and that is a really positive sign as well. Dewi Lake, leadership, captain of the team, out for a long-term injury. He is back again. British and Irish Lions selection is a massive little carrot dangling in front of Dewi Lake. And that means you're adding a real positive boost to what is a breath of fresh air and a feel-good factor, which is around that Welsh camp. So that could add to the momentum of the turnaround with Wales. Or will this game against Scotland be a return back to earth? That's the interesting component of this one, isn't it? Because arguably Wales had an element of surprise against Ireland. Ireland didn't exactly know what was going to be coming their way, other than they were probably going to get this dead cat bounce, which new coaching setups tend to get when there's a bit of fresh air. But maybe Wales were able to bring something tactically which Ireland weren't able to prepare for, and that took them by surprise, whereas now they're going to be a bit more of a known quantity to Scotland, who will anticipate and prepare for what's going to face them. On the flip side, what Matt Sherratt managed to do to prepare his Wales team to play against Ireland was in only 3 sessions together. And now they've had a fortnight since. So, you know what? I mean, he's an attack coach by trade. Matt Sherratt might have a few tricks up his sleeve. And it's a really solid-looking Welsh pack in particular. Will Griff-John and Nicky Smith look to be the best 2 scrummagers. Adam Jones is in there in the Welsh camp now. He knows a thing or two about scrummaging. And, you know, Will Griff-John, that was only, I think, the second game he started at any level, club or country, in over 2 years last time out. And it was an inspired selection. Nicky Smith back in. They seem to have a rock-solid scrum. Will Rowlands, I thought, just went around. Massive engine, huge work rate. And Morgan and Raffel as a double jackal threat. Just all action with Faletau looking like he was rolling back the years. That pack suddenly looks really quite good. Much less experience in the back line, especially outside 9 and 10, where there is basically all of the experience in this Welsh team is in the halfbacks. But isn't that where you would want the experience? If you were going to have to pack it into 2 positions only, you'd want it in the 9 and 10 jerseys. And they play club and country. And can they get those guys firing? Just isn't it amazing the difference that's happened and the way that you're approaching looking at this matchup? And they've got good players on the bench as well, with Aaron Wainwright coming in. Aaron Wainwright, a quality player like that on the bench, ready to come on. As for a combined team, so if you had all of these Welshmen and you had the whole Scottish 23, what would your combined team look like? And this is comparing shirt 1 against shirt 1, shirt 2 against shirt 2, and so on as we go down. And for all of the positive talk about Wales, which is totally justified, I think the stark reality is there is a massive amount of effort and attitude and commitment and desire and heart from the Welsh team, and that can take you a long way in rugby. That does count for a lot. As Warren Gatland's old mantra was, be the best at the things that require no skill. Be really fit, work really hard, smash your opponent when you get the chance. Wales did that 100%. That will take you almost all the way, but it won't take you all the way. And if everything else is equal, then talent does come through, and I just think Scotland have too much of it. But as I said, not in the packs. I think the packs are more evenly matched. Scotland have got it in the back line. And if they get decent ball, then, well, they showed how dangerous they were, outscoring England 3 tries to 1. And I think they will get opportunities. And particularly if Wales play this kind of looser game, it might play into Scotland's hands quite a bit. Ireland have started kicking the ball a lot more than they did last year. Scotland don't tend to kick the ball and they like to look for edges. And I don't know. I think Scotland may tweak things tactically to try and combat that and not give Scotland as much possession as they would like. But Scotland, I think they will get opportunities, and that back line, I've got 6 of them in my combined team. And Ben White isn't far behind, maybe even equal with Thomas Williams. So I do think Scotland will have too much. But when you look at the bench and the starting side, there are as many Welshmen as Scotsmen out of the forwards. Out of the 14 forwards, it's 7 and 7. So it's who can get that supremacy and who can provide good enough ball for the back line. If Scotland get on top there, then I think it's good night for Wales. I'm going to say Scotland by 9. A couple of scores. Scotland by a couple of scores. They should have enough at home, but can Wales keep the wagons rolling? That's the big question. Right, let me know what you think. Yeah, loads more to come before and during the weekend. I cannot wait for it, and I really appreciate you watching. Leave your comments down below, and I'll see you on the next video.